Most people believe that once they hit that $1 million, they're set for life. That's the number everybody chases, right? 7 figures, the milestone that feels like financial freedom. But here's the true reality most people don't want to hear, right? In 2026, $1 million is not what it used to be. And depending on how you live, where you live, and how you manage it, it might not last nearly as long as you think, right? Let's break this down in real practical way. First, you have to understand something basic. $1 million is not income. It's a pool of money, right? And the moment you start spending from that pool without replenishing it, you've started that countdown. So the real question isn't how much do you have, it's how fast are you spending it. Let's run a simple scenario, right? If you spend $50,000 a year, your $1 million lasts 20 years. That sounds pretty decent, right? But now, let's adjust your reality. In 2026, $50,000 a year is not a high lifestyle in most places. After taxes, housing, food, transportation, and basic expenses, that number gets tight quickly. Now, increase that to $75,000 a year, right? Now your million lasts about 13 years. At $100,000 a year, you're looking at 10 years. And that's before we even factor in inflation. And this is where things get serious, right? Inflation quietly reduces your purchasing power every single year. So even if you're spending the same amount, your money is buying less each year, which means your lifestyle either shrinks or your spending increases. But either way, your timeline shortens. Now, let's layer in real world costs. Housing alone can eat a major portion of your money, whether it's rent, property taxes, maintenance, or insurance. You're constantly paying to exist in a space, right? Then you add food, groceries going up, eating out going up, transportation, gas, insurance, maintenance, car payments, healthcare. That's one of the biggest variables most people underestimate. One major medical issue can wipe out a significant portion of your savings. And this is where the illusion of $1 million is enough starts to break, right? Because it's not just about living, it's about sustaining your lifestyle over time. Now, here's the turning point most people miss. Wealth isn't about how much money you have. It's about whether your money is producing more money. If your $1 million is just sitting there, you're slowly losing it. But if it's working, now the equation changes. Let's talk about that. If you can generate even a 5% annual return on $1 million, that's $50,000 a year. Now, instead of spending the principal, you're living off the output. That's a completely different position. At 7%, that's $70,000 a year. At 10%, that's $100,000 a year. Now, you're no longer counting down, you're sustaining, right? But here's the key. Returns are not guaranteed. Markets fluctuate, opportunities shift, so you need a strategy, not just an assumption, right? Now let's talk about lifestyle inflation. This is where people quietly destroy their own wealth. As soon as they hit a certain number, their lifestyle expands. Better car, better house, more spending, and suddenly what used to feel like a lot starts to feel normal. That's dangerous because your expenses rise faster than your assets. And now your $1 million isn't buying freedom. It's funding a temporary lifestyle. Now, let's take this further, right? Location matters more than people realize. $1 million in one state does not stretch the same in another. High cost areas will drain that money faster. Lower cost areas can extend it. So part of the strategy isn't just how much you have, it's where you position yourself. Now, here's something most people don't calculate. Time. If you're 30 years old and you expect $1 million to last for the rest of your life, that's potentially 40, 50, 60 years. That's a long time for money to last without consistent growth. If you're 60 years old, the equation is different. So your age and timeline directly impact how far that money goes. Now let's talk about the real takeaway. $1 million is not the finish line, it's a tool. And whether it lasts or disappears depends entirely on how you use it. If you treat it like a bank account to withdraw from, it will eventually run out. If you treat it like an asset base to build from, it can sustain you. And that's the shift from spending to structuring, from consuming to producing. And now, here's the grim reality part. Most people who reach a financial milestone without a system in place lose it. Not immediately, but gradually. Through spending, poor decisions, or a lack of a strategy. Because money without structure doesn't last. So if your goal is to reach $1 million, that's a strong milestone. But the real goal should be this. How do I make that million produce consistently without destroying it? Because that's what creates stability. That's what creates freedom. And that's what separates temporary wealth from lasting wealth. So if you're building toward that number right now, or if you're already there, don't just think about how to reach it. Think about how to sustain it. Because in 2026, the real game isn't hitting $1 million. It's making sure it actually lasts your lifetime.